What's going on, guys? I got a Mannadium deck profile for you today. This is one I actually ran at locals last night. There's a few things I would change, but I really like the deck. I think just it's one of those decks where if you go first, you typically are going to win. You know, depending on what it is. It does have bad matchups, but it has good matchups too. So at the end of the day, you know, it's all about the heart of the cards. You know, so I'm running 2 right heart. Most people are on 3. I'm still debating on whether 2 or 3 is the right number. It's a great starter, but I don't think it's your... Actually, I would argue that it might be your best starter. But this one might be your best starter because you actually get some tuners involved. So we have the room heart, 2 right heart. You're technically playing 3 of these because you are running a Rhoda in here. Now we got 3 Visas Samsara. So these are your main starters. This one is Visa Samsara in the field and the graveyard. If it was in the deck, that'd be freaking awesome. Playing 2 Starfrost. Now this is the one where I think 3 might be more important than that. It's hard to say though. I don't know that you want to draw a lot because you can brick on this. So 3 Meek, mandatory. I think these are mandatory for sure. You definitely don't want to play less than 2. And on this one, you definitely don't want to play less than 2 either. So that's it for the monsters. Like I said, I mean, I've actually used this deck in live events. Tier Elements matchup, I would have won, but I misplayed at the end. I should have went for a level 4, so I could use my Obsidian to banish and special, and then I could have made Gaga Cowboy. But anyway, so Tier Elements not a terrible matchup. It's not the best matchup. It's a good duel though. Rescue Ace is whoever goes first. I mean, honestly, it comes down to that in a lot of those duels, but that's just how meta decks are. It's just a dice roll format. 2 Calarium, 2 Reichphobia, 1 Wraithsoft for our field spells. These 2 can add Visa Starfrost. This one can't. This one you're only running for this because every one of these gets you to the other except for this one. That's why we only run one of these. 3 Fenrir. Fenrir is just a great interruption overall on its own, just period. It's just a great card. If they ban Cashier Fenrir, I don't know that it kills this deck, but it significantly hurts this deck, I would say. It'd be a pretty good hit. Our one-ofs, we are playing these. Rhoda, it's just your 10th man, 9th man, whatever you need. Your 10th 4-star. In my case, it's 9th. But Mannadium Imaginings, because it's just free draws. Talents, because draw sucks. Terraforming, just because. Ashbait, and sometimes you just have to use it. Typically, you're going to see a field spell. Abscission. Both of these just do cool things in the graveyard. This one makes it a tuner, and this one lets you special summon 1 Visa Starfrost, or 1 monster for 1500, 2100 defense from your hand. You can only use each effect of. You can only use each effect of Mannadium Abscission once per turn. So that's it for the one of spells, and now we'll go into this Scareclaw Arrival. Very key, but you don't. There's times where I've wanted 3, but it's very rare. So board breakers, we got Book of Eclipse and enemy controller. I might just go all 3 enemy controller, but that Book of Eclipse, pretty cool. Might just even go Moon. I don't know. For our Sinful Spoils package, we have the standard, and then we have the Black Witch and Jet Synchron. Just because this makes Boarload Savage Dragon, and it's an extra negate. It ends up just being free. And sometimes you're depending on it. So yeah, the Souls package, this one's cool. I don't think somebody has to play this. If you don't have this, it's not mandatory in this deck, and it may actually help your ratios, because as long as you see what you need to see, there's a lot of times where you don't need this, but this ends up being a free body to get to SP or something like that. So I'm cool with that. Yeah, so or if you see both of them in your hand at one time, that sucks. Imperm, 3 Imperm. I think this is better than Droplet because there's no cost associated with it. And Droplet, the only thing with Droplet is the response factor. They won't be able to respond to it, so they won't depending on what you have in your hand, but let's just say there's just a lot of stuff that people can do. Like Rescue Ace, typically they have something in there to play around Imperm that otherwise couldn't play around Drop It. So I'm experimenting with that one. And then this. May not be the smartest main deck choice, but I've never just bricked on this, I would say. I mean, you got 4 other cards in your hand. You got, what is this, like 15, 20 starters in this deck? Like literally, if you, maybe more than that, like 25 starters probably. I mean, one card, if you're bricking on one card, you just have bad luck. But going second into Pearly, Rescue Ace, anything, I mean, you have this in your hand, it's just like a, it's not necessarily an auto win condition, but it's very well, it's gonna help you very much at the end of the day. So that is the main deck. So let me show you what we're doing here. 2 Astrolauds. Honestly, sometimes you want 3. You know, you can make 3 at times, and that sucks. But usually, if you ain't got the game by then, you probably, you know, I don't know, something went wrong. 2 Lightheart is a starter. 1 SP, because that's the best card in the game. One of the best cards, top 10 probably. Dark, because understand a lot of people are playing Hita, and I was too, but it requires a fire monster, and you just don't have that in this deck. You can make it with Jet Synchron or Kurikara, but you're not gonna those are low percentage plays. There's a lot of Fire Kings and stuff in the meta, but you just have to take your chances. Everybody's making SP, everybody's making the Witch, so the Black Witch. So Celine for climbing into this. That's just it. Everybody's playing Dead Bellstar, so you might as well play this. And keep in mind, you have to use a regular monster, not a Elite monster with Celine, because it has to go in defense position. Appaloosa. So many times this card saves you. Cross Sheet mandatory. For our synchros, Chaos Angel, because you do find yourself wanting a level 10, and this one's easier to make than Dispater in this deck because you don't have to have a dragon. Borreload Savage Dragon, because it's basically free in this deck when you draw wanted. So yeah. Baron, because it's the best card in the game. And there's times where I would actually consider maybe running 2 Barons, because there's a lot of times where you can make Chaos Angel and Baron. And Baron's effect is once per copy. So, you know, that's pretty cool. The destruction effect is just once per turn, I think, though. Let me see. Once per turn during standby. And if you do destroy that card, you can only use the previous effect of Baron de Fleur once per turn. Okay, yeah. So the destruction is once per turn, but the negate's not. So either way, and it's a negate and destroy. So it's just pretty cool. But Chaos Angel's also a tower at times, and you know, it's just good. Mannadium Trasukta, because sometimes this is all you have, and it's a bridge into this, which gets you to this, which gets your play started. So there's just so many options. One thing I like about this deck, it's not linear at all. Now let's look at the side deck. The side deck, I'm actually missing 1 card in my side deck. I'm thinking about making that 1 side card Typhon. You're running 2 of these. You're running the Cowboy. You gotta have a time condition. This deck makes the time condition pretty easily, uninterrupted very easily. I actually misplayed with it last night at locals, and I grabbed a Visas, which is level 6, instead of a Room Hard or anything else, because I had a spell in the grave to be able to special it. Anyway, could have made this, won the game. End of story. And Abyss Dweller just really hurts Fire Kings, Tier, the Horus stuff. Not necessarily the Horus stuff, because it doesn't activate. But typically any graveyard reliant deck. Another Talents, Duster, Herald of the Abyss, because you don't want to be losing to Pearly. I mean, that deck's still around, and people keep saying it's dead. But they still playing it, okay? They still playing it, so keep that in there. Daruma, Dimensional, Magic Deflector, Rescue Ace, Pearly, Tier, Branded. Which this deck really, whoever goes first in the Branded matchup wins, typically. I'm not worried about Branded Chimera so much as I am the Branded Puppet Lock. The Puppet Lock version. Daruma Cannon, any deck. Call by the Grave. Possibly cut that and just put it in the main. Take something out. Maybe that Curry Car, swap them. I don't know. Evenly. Lightning Storm. 3 Thrust just to be able to get to any of this. Pretty much any of this stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I do have 15 now. Wait, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. That's the deck profile. It's cool, you know. I like it. Real fun deck. You never just feel dead in the water with this deck. Like some decks, they build a board and you're just like, I'm screwed. But this deck, it can play through a lot. It really can. So definitely try it out. It's an expensive deck, I will say that. But you don't have to play the wanted package. And that's gonna save like almost $400 by itself. And you probably have a lot of the other cards. Bad part is a lot of these are ultras and secrets. And that's the only printing in a lot of these is ultras and secrets. So it does make the deck fairly expensive, but you know, you gotta pay to play these days. You gotta pay to play the game. So anyways, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.